my crowd in rotation. Yeah. Are you on in yet? Are you on in yet? That's my prep music, y'all. I gotta have that in my spirit before I go where I have to go every day. So anyway, this is the review of Wendy and Julian on Black&SexyTV. It's the series spin-off from Chef Julian. We are 3 episodes in, and this review is just going to wrap all 3 episodes into one review, and then from this point forward I will be posting the reviews shortly after the new episode airs. So let's jump into it. First and foremost, let me just say, I love it. I love it. I'm enjoying it. 3 episodes in, I'm enjoying it. I love the story of these 2 characters. I love the music in this series. All of Black&SexyTV music is normally really good. In this series, especially the first 3 episodes, Black&SexyTV is playing some of the familiar tracks, like some of the music we're used to hearing in their content, and some of those songs I just really love. I'm so used to hearing them with their content that I love, that it just gives you that good feeling when you hear it. So yeah, digging the music. And I really am digging the writing. Okay, so acting is on point. The storylines are on point. The writing is on point. What I really love about the approach they're taking to Wendy and Julian is that they're not making it like some romantic comedy, although there's definitely some comedic type stuff happening, you know, with the characters, of course, but they're not making that. They're really layering in like the struggles that is coming with this particular couple based off of what they've been through, right? So based off of, you know, the lack of commitment from Julian, Wendy started dating Daryl, she got pregnant for him, she had an abortion, they end up trying to get back together and be friends and blah, blah, you know, so they got a lot of history. Team Wendy and 1. And so they're together now. So that's what this series is showing us, is their relationship. And I really appreciate that I'm seeing complexity in how the story is being told, because based on what they've been through, it's good to see some struggle, because you know there should be some struggle. So let's see. It starts off with Wendy and Julian going on a getaway that he's planned for her birthday, and you know, Julian has planned like this retreat at a lodge, and you know, like in a camping environment, but his intention was for them to be in a lodge, but for whatever reason, whatever package he selected, it ended up being, no bro, y'all got a tent and y'all gonna be out here on these campgrounds, and you know, that's the package you bought. So you know, they you know, try to make the best of it. Julian and Julian is really trying to make the best of it, because he is really trying to show Wendy that, you know, how much he cares about her, and that he's trying to act right and do the right thing. So he's really trying. So, you know, with that disappointment, he's like, let's just make the best of it. So, you know, so they get their tent, they go out there, they start trying to pitch the tent, which is extremely close to another couple. It's an older couple, and so, you know, Julian's trying to put up the tent. He's struggling putting up the tent. The older man is like, you know, young man, I can help you. And Julian is like, that's all right, OG. You know, it's like, okay, y'all. And so, you know, and so Wendy and lady, other lady, I don't even know if I got her name, but anyway, they end up going to the store to pick up a few items, and Julian stays behind trying to put up the tent. So long story short there, it becomes like mentoring session, kind of. So because Wendy ends up, you know, giving out a whole lot of information to this person she just met about her and Julian, their history, their off and on again relationship, and you know, and the lady tells her, you know, I've had a few Julians in my time. She said, you know, basically they're the kind that you have fun with, but you don't marry the Julians. So Wendy took offense to that, and the lady was like, oh, you know, I didn't mean any harm, you know, so, and all that, but she took offense to it, which I thought was interesting because one, now you sat in this lady's car and spilled all your beans about your stuff. This woman is just talking to you because you're sharing, you are sharing, so she's responding. Okay, and so, but really deeper than that, it just, how Wendy responded just shows what she's still struggling with in her own readiness to be in this relationship with Julian. So, you know, just questions about him, questions about them, questions about her. So that's how I took her reaction. Like, what did they say? A hit dog will holler, but I think it's hitting her insecurity. So then we see Julian back, still struggling with the tent. Don't have a clue what he's doing. Ultimately, he lets the OG help him put up the tent. So he puts the tent up, and then you know, the OG starts giving him some advice too about, you know, how you have to treat, you know, your woman, if you want to keep your woman, and you know, they have a couple of drinks and that kind of thing. So they just real chill, laid back, cool exchange. Okay. So when they get back to the tent, that night, the older couple, they're going at it, you know. So of course, you know, Julian's ready anytime Wendy is ready, but Wendy is still wanting them to wait. So they're still not having sex, and they're 4 months into the relationship, but Wendy just wanted to wait because she said she wanted it to be special. So they're in the tent, and they're hearing this this couple in the tent, like, I mean, like you might as well say right next to them. I mean, I'm like, if you're on a camping ground, okay, now I know this is for the purposes of shooting the episode, but I'm just saying, because if you're on a campground, all the space, you know, all the great outdoors, you know, you want to like be right up on somebody like that. So anyway, they're going at it with all the sound effects and all of that, and you know, and Julian and Wendy, they laugh at it in the beginning, and you know, but then, you know, I think night 2 is kind of like, okay, no, I'm over it, I can't take it no more. So Julian and Wendy, the next day, you know, he's taking her on this nature trail because he's trying to get some scene or setting out in the park that's supposed to be really beautiful, that he wants to, you know, take her there so they can have a moment, enjoy the beautiful you know, scenery together and all of that. But that doesn't work because they are lost. And so once they're lost, and Wendy, you know, she goes off on Julian about them being lost, and again it hits a trigger in her because she went for the kill with Julian. I mean, she was telling him stuff like, you know, I've been out of college a long time, and I'm too old for this shit, and I need somebody better. And when she said that, as much as I call Julian a fuckboy in my previous reviews, and he has not redeemed himself from fuckboy status, but when somebody's trying now, you gotta let him try, okay? He's trying, so, you know, I'm just saying. But as much as I referred to him as a fuckboy, I felt bad for Julian because I felt like Wendy needs to deal with her shit, and because she doesn't really, she's working through it, or she even if she's not working through it, she's going through it, and so she's taking out some of that on him. And I just felt like with that comment when she said I need someone better, that was like going for the jugular. You know, that's like, you know, when you're arguing and you go into spaces that you probably know even after that shit come out your mouth, like, I shouldn't have went there, because you know, as the person with that person, you know, especially the sore spots, you know, the things that really get to stuff that resonates deeply with them because of maybe stuff in their past. So she went there, they're fussing, you know, and he's still trying to get her to make the best of it, but he does call her out and he lets her know that, you know what, you're not actually Miss Perfect yourself, you know. And Lord, when he threw up the thing about, don't act like you know, you weren't, you know, in a relationship with my friend and got pregnant by him, and then she cussed her about because she's like, oh no, I know this motherfucker did not just go there. But okay, now that was somewhere to go, but I'm just saying, she did the same thing to him when she looked at him and she told him, I need somebody better. You know what I mean? You know what that does to a man's ego? And especially somebody with Julian, who's only been able to massage his ego with vagina. So, you know, it doesn't take much to make him feel like, okay, I need to go out here and you know, get it in with a lot of people just so I can feel better about myself, because that's his past pattern. But so they finally make it back to the campground. They're still mad. They go to sleep mad. They, you know, Wendy's like, I just want to go home and all of that. So the next morning when they get up, Julian is already out of the tent, and she finds the gift that he left for her, a little note that he left for her. And so they kind of, you know, they're nicer to each other, you know, and kind of, you know, like saying sorry but not saying sorry, that kind of a deal. So you could tell that the vibe has changed in a good way that morning. And so anyway, they just, you know, want to get out and go do whatever. And of course I skipped that whole scene when Julian ran into the bear and he came running, and then Wendy started running and she said that Julian left her. Now I don't know if Julian probably left her because he's faster, but it looked like they arrived at the bench around the same time where the pitch was 10. But I loved how when he came through running, Wendy was like, what? But then she just started running because, honey, that is all the way black. It was that joke Cedric the Entertainer used to tell about, if a bunch of black people, you start running past us, we don't stop and ask a lot of questions. We just gonna run too, because we know we're not asking no questions. You running, we're running. You running, so now we're running. We're running because something's going down. So that was hilarious. But so they get ready to leave. Before they get ready to leave from the camp, Wendy decides that it is time for abstinence to be over. So they finally have sex. Lord Jesus, they are loud as can be. It is so funny because the couple who's right next to them, who's been all dramatic, okay, with their sexcapades, they act like, oh my God. I was like, really, yo? Really? Really? Okay, so anyway, so they have sex finally. Pack up the car, get ready to go, push the start button, and the car doesn't start.